Let's be honest, we all do it. We put on one face for our boss, a different one for our friends, and yet another for our family. It's the performance of a lifetime, right? It helps us get by. But what if that standing ovation is costing you your soul? This is where the legendary Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung chimes in. He warned that this social mask, which he called the persona, comes with a seriously dark price. When you get too good at playing the part, you start to believe the hype. And that creates a painful gap inside where being your true self starts to feel like a dangerous act of rebellion. Just think about your average day. You wake up and boom, the first mask is on. You're the patient, supportive partner, even if you're secretly dreading that 9 a.m. meeting. Then you get to work and you become the cool, calm professional who has it all together, bearing any self-doubt under a shiny veneer of competence. With friends, maybe you're the comedian, the one who never shows weakness, whose job is just to keep things light. Each of these is a role, a costume we carefully select to fit in. And let's face it, society kind of demands this from us. From a young age, we learn that certain parts of us, our anger, our weird dreams, our sadness, are less acceptable. They just don't fit the script. So we shove them aside and present a more likable version of ourselves to get approval, to belong, and to succeed. This is what Carl Jung called the persona, borrowing the Latin word for the masks worn by actors in ancient theater. Now, this isn't automatically a bad thing. The persona is a crucial tool for social survival. It's a compromise between who we really are and what the world wants us to be. It's what allows us to work together without descending into chaos. Imagine a world where everyone shared every single thought without a filter. It would be a total mess. The persona is a necessary buffer between our private inner world and the public outer one. So let's be clear. Wearing a mask isn't the problem. The real problem is when we forget we're wearing it. The danger, as Jung saw it, is when we merge with our role so completely that we don't know who we are underneath. When the professor becomes nothing but his textbook, the tenor nothing but his voice, the mask stops being a tool and starts becoming a cage. You start to believe the performance is you, and that's when the bill comes due. So what's the real cost of this lifelong performance? It's not a sudden explosion. It's more like a slow, quiet erosion of your very self. It's that hollow feeling that creeps in even when, from the outside, your life looks perfect. You've got the job, the relationship, the status, everything the persona was built to get you, and yet you feel like an imposter in your own life. You know that growing disconnect between the person everyone applauds and the person who lies awake at 3 a.m. wondering, is this really it? Jung had a name for this: inflation. It's when your social role puffs up so much that it smothers the real you underneath. Jung warned, a man cannot get rid of himself in favor of an artificial personality without punishment. That punishment is a loss of energy, a feeling of meaninglessness, and a quiet, nagging despair. The sheer effort it takes to keep that facade up day after day is exhausting. It leads to anxiety and the feeling that your life isn't even yours. Probably the best story to ever nail this idea is Oscar Wilde's novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Dorian, a ridiculously handsome young man, wishes his portrait would age for him, leaving him forever young and perfect, and his wish comes true. Outwardly, he stays flawless, the perfect persona. He can act horribly with zero consequences to his pretty face, but the painting, locked away in a dark room, takes the hit. With every rotten thing he does, the face in the painting gets uglier, twisting into a monster that shows the true state of his soul. The portrait is Dorian's true self, hidden away so he can present a perfect mask to the world. He completely identifies with his beautiful face, but the split is unbearable. The beautiful face is his persona. The horrifying painting is his repressed inner life, what Jung would call the shadow. In the end, the agony of this division becomes too much. In a desperate move to destroy the evidence, Dorian stabs the painting, and in doing so, kills himself. This is the ultimate danger of the persona. When we deny who we are for too long, we create a war within ourselves. We lock away the parts we think are ugly, but they don't just vanish. They fester in the dark, growing stronger and more twisted. We become, as Jung put it, blind to the existence of inner realities. And that blindness is a one-way ticket to self-destruction. Okay, so if the persona is our highlight reel, what's all the stuff we leave on the cutting room floor? In Jung's world, all that hidden stuff is called the shadow. The shadow is the unconscious corner of our mind where we stuff everything we don't want to admit about ourselves. It's born from every time we were told, don't be angry, boys don't cry. That's a silly dream. Or nice people don't think that. All those unwanted traits and feelings get banished to the shadow. Confronting the shadow is step one on the road back to yourself. Jung said, "Whoever looks into the mirror of the water will see first of all his own face, but the mirror lies behind the mask and shows the true face." The shadow is that true, unedited face, and honestly, it can be a terrifying sight at first. It holds our shame, our rage, our envy, our deepest insecurities. It's also the reason we're so quick to spot flaws in other people. That coworker who drives you crazy, that rival you can't stand, you might just be seeing a reflection of the darkness you won't admit you have in yourself. But here's the twist. Jung insisted the shadow isn't just a monster hiding in the basement, it's also where your power is. It's a source of incredible creativity and vitality. When you suppress your anger, for example, you might also be suppressing your ability to be assertive and set boundaries. When you numb your sadness, you might also numb your ability to feel deep empathy. The shadow doesn't just hold our bad stuff, it holds our unlived potential, hidden strengths and buried talents we disowned because they didn't fit in. Maybe you were a creative kid who was told to get a sensible job. Your artistic soul didn't die, it was just exiled to the shadow. To get whole, you have to turn around and face that shadow. The process is called shadow work, and it's really just about dragging the unconscious out into the light. It means paying attention to your dreams, your emotional triggers, your projections. When someone makes you irrationally angry, ask yourself, what part of them am I seeing in myself? It takes radical honesty and self-compassion. It's about admitting that you aren't just the polite, agreeable persona. You are also the anger, the envy, and the fear. And you're the hidden gold too. Integrating the shadow isn't about getting rid of the dark. It's about bringing it into the light where you can understand it and make it part of you. Facing your shadow is just the first step on a lifelong journey that Jung called individuation. Simply put, it's the process of becoming a single, whole individual, of becoming who you were always meant to be. The goal is to peel off the fake layers of the persona and live from a place of authenticity. Now, this doesn't mean you go to work tomorrow and tell your boss exactly what you think of his haircut. You still need the mask to function in the world. The goal isn't to destroy it, but to make it flexible. This means you can play the role of the professional, the parent, or the friend, but you're always aware that it's just a role. Your center of gravity shifts from the outside world to your inner world. You're no longer performing for applause, you're expressing your true self with intention and choice. And this takes guts, real courage. Because when you start taking off the mask, you might disappoint people who were really comfortable with the old you. Authenticity can feel like a rebellion, because it often is one. A rebellion against the pressure to be just like everyone else. As you start to integrate your shadow and loosen the persona's grip, you start making choices that actually align with your true values. You might change careers, end a bad relationship, or pick up a long-lost passion. You start living a life that feels real because it's rooted in all of who you are. This journey never really ends. It's a continuous spiral of self-discovery. The goal isn't perfection, it's wholeness. And wholeness means embracing your contradictions, your flaws, and your full, messy, beautiful humanity. It is what Jung called the privilege of a lifetime, to become who you truly are. Look, the masks we wear are part of being human. They protect us and help us connect. But they were only ever meant to be a costume, not a second skin fused to our soul. When the mask becomes your face, your true self starts to suffocate, and your life, no matter how successful, feels empty. So I want you to take a second and ask yourself honestly, what mask do you wear every day? What part of yourself are you terrified to show the world? And what would it feel like, even for a moment, to put the mask down and just breathe? This isn't a call to quit your job and burn your bridges. It's just an invitation to start that journey inward, to look in the mirror, pass the mask, and begin the brave work of getting to know your whole self. If any of this hit home for you, maybe stick around and subscribe for more deep dives into what makes us tick. The path back to yourself is a long one, but it's the only one worth taking.